Welcome to the Mystical Musings with Friends podcast. Join us in these fun, consciousness-expanding episodes hosted by myself, Kimberley Leite, where we discuss the world of the mystical and how this world can enhance your life experience, along with spiritual teachers and leaders from around the world. Join us as we explore subjects including the ascension and oneness teachings, law of attraction, channeling, spiritual healing, psychic explorations, and various other journeys within the mystical, esoteric, and metaphysical realms. It is a journey behind the veil of our reality, and it's a journey of awakening to the powerful being that you truly are. Hello everybody, and welcome to our next episode of Mystical Musings with Friends. And I'm joined by my friend once again, Isabelle Zimmerman. Hi Isabelle, thanks for joining.
Hello everyone.
Wow, so the topic today is all about 2021 and the energies coming into this year. So many of you obviously know that 2020 was a very intense year, and there were a lot of mystical, metaphysical reasons why it was so intense. If you follow both mine and Isabelle's work, you would know that all the events of 2020 and the events that's occurring right now, the beginning of 2021, is all happening to move us to oneness, remembrance, consciousness. You might see a lot of division that's happening in the world, but understand that in division, there's also a form of unity. Even though we might see there's chaos, this is actually repressed shadows, fears, limiting beliefs the collective has held that's attached to duality consciousness, and we are purging that. So the purging means basically programs of fear, our limiting beliefs based on duality, wrong versus right, victim mentality, there's people controlling us and so forth. Basically, those programs no longer serve us in the collective because it kind of limits us from remembering who we are. And who we are is source, who we are is oneness. So it's basically bubbling up to the surface, right? And that's what you're seeing now. Everything you see in society is a reflection of what's happening in the collective consciousness. It's coming up to the surface so we can heal it, so we can address and heal our shadows. So this is the process. So it's about seeing everything is happening for a higher reason. It's all happening for us. Yes, you can look back and you might be directly affected by this, of the events of 2020 and 2021, but understand there were a lot of soul contracts involved here, both collective soul contracts and individual soul contracts. So in higher truth, there are no victims. And so it's been an intense year, and we've all felt it. And those of you who are sensitive felt it not just physically, but felt it energetically as well. And so 2021, it's a whole brand new year, and we're just on that kind of tail end of that intensity, but there's of course more events to come, whether it's this year or in years that is going to be manifested quite soon. There are going to be more events, but for most of us, we've done the work, and it will get easier for all of us. So 2021, we are shifting as a collective. And I just wanted to have a discussion, and let's talk about what it entails. So Isabelle, what's come up for you, and your reflections on 2020 and the year that we're in right now?
I would say that 2020 was really doing a lot of soul work. I saw it a lot in my friends out there. And it was really head down in the trenches doing soul work. Some of my friends had some really dark nights of the soul, great manifestation events, a lot of fear, I would say, of 2020 really kind of came up, but a lot of folks also connected with nature and went within and sought additional teachings or knowings. They were curious. I can't tell you how many people unexpectedly that woke up. Children were waking up. Teenagers were waking up. They were at a fundamental understanding of there's more out there, or they were aware that they had an ego, or they were aware of the non-physical. So it was really interesting to witness. And I remember October 31st, the non-physical team were really preparing me for October 31st. And it was very intense energy. But my physical reality was Halloween in the United States. It was okay. It wasn't like a big deal for me. But so many of my friends after that, and it was because the elections really were affected. And I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. And now we moved into 2021, and this is the year of creativity. That's the message that I keep on getting. So I think they want us light workers to create and push past fear as usual, but create this year. So that's what I'm getting for 2021. What about you? What are you getting?
Yeah, so creativity, it's definitely something I resonate with because as well with a lot of the light workers and people on this awakening journey, 2020, we did so much soul work, didn't we? And I felt like it was preparing us for this year, right? So we could be creative, so we can tap into new gifts and have them actually activated within us. And just very recently, actually, with the creativity thing, I do light language through sound alchemy, so with my vocals. And those of you might have heard some of my channeled meditations when I do this. But just this year, like early this year, late last year, I received a guidance to basically put that into art. So the creativity and using our gifts in a lot of creative ways is being activated within many of us. So so basically my team have basically discussed how, we, the collective, are moving to oneness remembrance. And, what is oneness? So basically it's remembering that we are source, that we are one. So there is no division. Me and Isabelle are one. Those that you see or perceive that are controlling, those, even the furry friends out there, we are one of them too. So it's about kind of taking down those judgments, and instead of acting on these fears that we have, it's about bring it into the heart space. And just, if we still have those fears, those shadows within us, it's just about acknowledging them. They are being lifted from the whole collective, right? There is a lot of a lot of anger and a lot of disbelief, and there's all sorts of emotions relating to the fear-based dimensions that is being brought up for the collective. And it's okay. It's how it's supposed to be. So it's about, going forward, being in acceptance of your emotions and everybody else's emotions. It's happening for a higher reason. We are going through a great awakening here. And it's all for us to heal, to allow us to unite into oneness. So with that, my team has discussed that basically we have gone from the ego mind, right? So we are heart-based beings, right? And we are activating that at the moment more intensely. So we have been conditioned as a collective to work through our minds, right? To analyze things, to plan our day, to experience physical reality from a point of habit, from a point of, a 3D perspective, right? What they've discussed is that we as a collective are moving away from that kind of operating, right? When we are moving into operating now from the heart center. So what is that? It is about feeling your way through reality. It is about acting on your intuition. It's basically the qualities of the divine masculine, but now it's been kind of transformed, and we as a collective are now working from the consciousness of the divine feminine, right? So I understand that both the consciousness, divine feminine, divine masculine, is in both males and females, right? It's not a gender thing. Okay, so basically it is a new way of operating, and it's can be a bit confronting in a way, because we're so used to controlling our life. So it's really about feeling our way and being in the present moment, and, you know, listening to your intuition, your knowing, right, on what to do. And interesting, I was telling Isabelle about this actually before we started recording. And, you know, late last year as well, like for many of us who are sensitive, we have gone through even more shifts. And for me, I've gone through an interesting set of ascension symptoms. And ascension symptoms, for those of you who don't know, are, for those of you who are sensitive, when you start to vibrate in higher dimensions, basically what happens is that your physical vessel needs time to kind of recalibrate to your new vibration, which is kind of the basic of what it is, right? There are different types of ascension symptoms. There are like purging symptoms, which is the negative kind of programs coming to the surface. But ascension symptoms are more of, in a way, like the kind of the positive, I guess. It's it's you getting used to your new reality, right? Because we are energetic beings, and how we perceive our life, you know, how our worldview basically manifests our reality, and that attracts certain dimensions of experience. Anyway, so yeah, I was feeling a bit kind of out of it. It was very interesting. And I was talking to Isabelle about it, and it was very, very interesting. It was more than it wasn't even a brain fog. It was kind of like I was not in reality, right? I was not in time or space. It was very strange. Like I could even watch a TV program and I just couldn't make sense of the plot. Like, what is going, like, it's just like my logic, right? It was like and I couldn't put my finger on what it was, right? And I'm like, what is this? And then me, you know, for instance, writing like just a paragraph to like a friend, like just an everyday kind of message. And it'll take me half an hour to formulate a paragraph. Just I couldn't, the logic of putting words together. It was like, this is very unusual. And it kind of, I really realized what it was. You know, Christmas Day is a funny story. Like I put a dessert in the oven, and it was in foil, and like I wasn't able to use my logic to like get it out of the oven. I was like, how do I get this? I don't have the oven mitt, and I couldn't. It was very, very strange, you know, phenomena. And I realized I had the knowing, okay, it's the logic. It's like my logic is all screwed. And then it came out, and I kind of started to get this knowing that it was because of this dimensional shift, moving up from like melting away, transforming our third dimensional perspective of logic into the hearts and into the knowing. So that's what the transformation was. And of course, you know, it came out that it was exactly what was going on. So yeah, and I've had just yesterday, you know, I started to, you know, those of you who are sensitive, you already probably, you know, receive, you know, the communication from your non-physical peeps, you know, your intuition, however you want to call it. And but it usually can be just from, you know, maybe activities or projects, for instance. But you know, it was very interesting yesterday. It was for everything. I received the knowing, which is a form of intuition, but it's very strong. Okay, some of you might, you know, it is I guess a psychic ability, but we all have this ability. It's like this knowing of what to do. It's a very strong feeling. Anyway, and it was so interesting. It was like I received this knowing of like, okay, now is the time to brush your teeth. Like just like mundane tasks. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then like, okay, now's the best time to go to the shops and get that. I'm like, okay, like even though I always receive guidance, it seemed like little mundane things, I was kind of still using my logic, like my habits. Okay, brush your teeth at this time, or do, you know what I mean? Because we're still engaged in that. So I got a really big taste of how everything in my reality was from place of knowing and guidance. So I'm like, okay, so that's what it is. So I got to really experience that. So I feel like many of you have already felt this on many different levels or aspects in your life, but I've from what the information I've received is that we as a collective are actually moving into that operating system. So it is really about us letting go of this control, right? And our analyzing minds and just living from the heart space, you know, drawing on our intuition and our knowings.
Yeah, I think it's so Kimberley went through that experience, and meanwhile I'm getting channeled messages and downloads that they want me to feel walking through a room. They want me to feel the energy of the room. Now, I already see racing energy. I already see energy in the room, and Kimberley can see energy also. And sometimes I see energy in geometric shapes, right? But what's interesting, it was like, no, now we want you to feel. And I think what they were doing was they were preparing me to feel, to be in tune with my heart, which the connection with my soul, to feel that connection and be more intuitive through my everyday existence. Because a lot of times I'm in my human mind. I'm, you know, analyzing and thinking in the human mind. And so I think they were trying to get us to balance it more and navigate your existence through your heart. And I say heart because, like, when they're like, you know, even when I hear the channel message, oh, just be in your heart center, really, it's your soul, guys. It's They want you to release control of the mind to your heart is actually a portal. It's an energy portal. That's why there's a chakra there. But it's an energetic portal to connect communication to your soul. Now, that's what they're really trying to help us move into, because that's a state of being. That is beingness. Because you're really letting go of all control and outcomes. And that is very hard for us. So when they said, hey, this is the time to brush your teeth, Kimberley wasn't tied to an outcome of when she should brush her teeth. So she said, all right, I'll brush my teeth now, right?
Yeah, so, and it's true. Like, you know, we might think, okay, let's, you know, okay, I'll receive the messages and use my intuition on important activities, but it really is about for everything in our reality, even the brushing the teeth and little things like this, even though we might think, okay, so why does it matter what time we brush our teeth? But there's a reason that we just don't know. And I actually found living this way, experiencing like a whole day like this, I felt so energized. I felt like I had more energy, vitality, because I wasn't using, I don't know, like that part of the logic 3D mind. It was really about just feeling my way. And I had so much energy and I felt like I was going so much with the flow and I was so productive. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, oh, cool. So it really is. And like, it's very true what Isabelle said. The heart center is a portal. It is us in our heart center, in this heart portal, is our spiritual mainframe, which we call divine blueprint. It is the operating system for the collective, right? In higher states of consciousness. We as a collective have moved to higher states of consciousness already. It's just that we are still attached to these old paradigms in 3D reality, right? And 3D reality relates to, you know, dimensions of separation and fear and so forth, right? And that's what we're seeing in the society at the moment. It's like people are still holding on to these paradigms of fear when it's an illusion, because who we truly are is unconditional love, right? So yeah, it's interesting times, you know, that's ahead for us all. But you know, in, like I said, the heart center, you know, because what is that? It's very, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, I'm going to love more, but it's a lot more to that. It's the subtle energies and related to, you know, to the heart chakra. It really is as well, just letting go of the control and just leading from the heart, right? Leading from a softness, believing and tapping into your own divine power, you know. And also the heart portal, the heart center, is where you access, you know, your multidimensional lives and all your true power. So basically, it is a portal, like Isabelle said, to your soul. You know, your, what you call as Akashic records, everything's imprinted in your heart center. So that's why, you know, it's really helpful when you do your meditations. You make the intention to connect to your heart center, right? I know there is, you know, a lot of you know about chakras, and, you know, yes, there is a lot of benefits to exploring, for instance, like crown chakra and third eye chakra. I understand this, but, you know, understand that the third chakra and crown chakra is nothing without the heart center, you know. And it's more than just, okay, exploring these kind of, you know, psychic abilities and metaphysical, mystical topics, right? If you haven't grounded into your heart center, your third eye crown chakra is gonna, you know, if you haven't done your shadow work, it'll still show you, yes, you know, non-physical. You might be able to explore like non-physical realms and so forth, and have kind of mystical experiences, but they still might be fear-based, right? So really is the heart center where you transform all your mystical experiences, your awakening journey, to ones that reflect love and oneness, which is who you truly are. And it's an ongoing journey, isn't it, Isabelle? Like, just because you are on this awakening journey doesn't mean, okay, I've done that lot of soul work and I'm finished and I'm complete. Oh, okay, I've handled that limiting belief. No, it's continuous, and it'll come back to you, because there usually are many angles to our limiting belief. So you can have fear of something, and then it'll be reflected to you like, oh, I thought I've done this, but they're showing you a different angle of it. So understand that we are multidimensional beings, and there are many different angles and many different perspectives to a fear as well. So yeah, it's really, as well with the divine feminine consciousness, it's really about time for nurturing, isn't it, Isabelle? You know, and 2020 has given us time to kind of go inwards, to be introspective, to kind of stop and pause and reflect, right? Because society, we've been so conditioned to go, 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 work, work, work. And it really is about stopping and reflecting and going inwards, right? So it's okay. And just, it's time to nurture yourself, guys. You know, we've been conditioned that, okay, I don't have time to nurture myself. I don't have time to care about myself, right? It's the most important thing you can do, is caring about yourself, spending time to nurture you, right? Because you are connected to the whole collective consciousness. So whenever you do your shadow work, whenever you do your nurturing work, connect to your heart center, you're actually expanding the whole collective consciousness. You are at the forefront of this great awakening shift. So understand that everything you do on an individual level affects the collective. That's how powerful you are, guys.
Yeah, I will always encourage people to do their shadow work or their Jedi work. And really what that is seeing something that you judge as wrong, or you believe you're a victim and you're not a creator. It is looking at that event and really seeing it from a higher perspective, okay? And sometimes that is a process to look at something at a higher perspective. Because what does that mean? How can I see this as right? How can I see this as for me? Why did I experience this? Well, you experienced it because nothing is random. Your soul and your vibration, because it's a system, a process, had you experience it for greater understanding. So when you experience something, let's say traumatic, it was really to have greater understanding and soul expansion. And they've always said, if you are a victim in this life, you were the persecutor in another life. If you were powerless in this life, you were powerful in another life. It is always to gain different perspectives around an experience. It is our judge, we judge, it is our free will to choose a higher perspective or not. And that is the soul work. So I know we talk a lot about soul work, and I just wanted to reiterate what that really is. So if you were curious, like heart-centered and soul work, what it really meant. And 2020 was a lot of reflection, and whether you deep dived in a reflection or not, but the light workers out there, in 2021, you are now anchoring the new energies of 2021 into Gaia through your physical body. So as light workers, when you do your soul work, you are also anchoring the soul collective into peace and harmony. So every little bit you do really does have an impact. And a lot of people are like, well, how can I help humanity? Well, ironically, it's you helping yourself first that truly helps humanity. And it's almost a little counterintuitive, I would say, because we always look for outside to validate the inside, but it's really inside, then out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 2021 is really about anchoring these new energies.
It is. And, you know, we do have so much help available to us, right? You guys know you're not alone, right? Like you have your non-physical peeps, your spirit guides, your higher self, whatever you like to call it, God, if you're religious, like whatever you are guided to call it or you believe, non-physical exists because we are all non-physical in reality. We are energy, right? You are truly not alone. And, you know it can be very challenging and intense, right? Especially those who have chosen very challenging soul contracts for themselves, right? But it's because you're powerful. And if you have chosen for yourself pre-birth a challenging life condition, experiences, know that it's for you to expand you, to allow you to catalyze you to such a point that you're kind of forced to go inwards to discover your power consciously for yourself, right? And you might ask, why would I choose such a thing for myself? But understand, we don't choose, our lives from a human perspective. We choose it in a non-physical perspective, right? Before being born here, right? We are eternal beings. So understand that if you are one of those people who have had a life or have had experienced very challenging life conditions or experiences, know that you have chosen to experience such things because you are a master at this game of life. And if you have chosen such things for yourself pre-birth, it means you have all the technologies, the tools within you to overcome and manage it, right? But it's not going to be found like outside of you. Yes, you might feel guided by going in to seek teachers or information to assist you. But at the end of the day, it's you that has to do the work. No one can do the work for you. We can assist you. We can help you to bring those beliefs to the forefront for you, but it still is up to you to transmute it, for you to be acceptance of it, right? So it's really about being patient with yourself. And, I know like a lot of light workers as well, this 2020 was very challenging. There was a lot of things coming up for them, but understand that the whole collective is shifting. And even those that you may see as like unawakened, we're all consciously on the same level here. There's no hierarchy, right? It's just that people, or the light workers, however you want to call people that have a calling to help others, right? Because of this, we've just chosen a role for ourselves. We were created for this role to kind of be the way showers for others, right? In either, healing practices or just sharing our wisdom to empower others or our gifts, and usually if we're in that role, we're kind of forced to do that work more intensely, right? So we can be that way shower for others. But understand that for those people in your reality that you may see as unawakened, they are just as highly advanced as you, as everybody. Everyone is just playing a role here, right, to assist in the collective evolution. So those in your reality that trigger you, they're your master teacher, right? Those that in your reality that might seem very fear-based or, you know, like I said, unawakened, they're just playing a role for you. What is your judgment around that? What is your perspective on those people in your reality? Those are the ones who are your greatest teachers. If you can kind of let go of the control, and when you're triggered, understand that they are actually mirroring a limiting belief within you. So they are your teacher in showing you a belief you have within yourself. No one is there out to get you from a higher perspective, right? That's only a third dimensional perspective, the victim mentality. All right? Everyone is in this together, truly, right? So 2021, we are shifting further into that remembrance, and it's a very exciting time to be alive, even though you might reflect back and you might be directly impacted by the events of 2020. But understand that there is a high reason why such events has happened to you or your loved ones, right? There is no accidents here. Everything is happening for all of us, for the collective. So yeah, it's just going forward, it really is about really being in the moment, right? Because we as a collective have been conditioned to not be in the present moment, to be so distracted in our reality. We have to do certain things, we have to achieve certain things, achieve our goals, we have to, you know, do everything for others and like stories within the illusion, right? Or we think we should be doing and so forth. So we are letting go of all those programs. And it really is about going inwards, guys. And I know me and Isabelle say it a lot. We all say, you know, do the shadow work a lot, but this is the fundamental to everything. Increasing or even activating, you know, your psychic abilities or intuitive abilities, the inner wisdom, all these kind of mystical experiences. If you want to experience all this, it's activated not from just exploring your third eye, because that can still reflect fear-based experiences. It's through your heart, where it reflects truly who you are. It is doing the shadow work, the soul work. And yes, it's an ongoing journey, but it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. It's about changing your perspectives to it. And yes, each time you dive into it, it does get easier, guys. Me and Isabelle still get triggered. We're still human, guys. Yes, we're much more than human, but we still are attached to these paradigms. So really, guys, it's just being gentle on your journey. And if you're triggered by fear, it is okay, right? This is, you know, this paradigm of fear, this contrast, this duality is how the human collective is expanding in our consciousness. If we didn't have fear, we wouldn't expand. So it's actually necessary to get us to that point of dimensional experience of oneness remembrance, right? But the fear is third dimensional, but as we move to like high states of consciousness, if you like, even though all dimensions are within us, the fear dimension, the polarity of fear of love will shift also, right? So that fear, that contrast, that polarity mechanism will also transform as we as a collective move to higher states, you know, of oneness remembrance. So understand that, yes, we'll always have this kind of polarity system in our collective until we remember that we're oneness, but the fear itself will change, the polarity itself will change, all right? And you know, you might not be in a position to love everything in your reality, but unconditional love is acceptance. So you might not have to agree with certain things, right? It might be too challenging for you, but if you can at least accept what's happening, you let go of that resistance and you start to see your reality through the eyes of source, right? Source is unconditional love. There is no judgment. Everything is happening for a reason. Everything is neutral, right? There is no wrong, there is no right. But because the humanity is aligned to a polarity system, it's about using unconditional acceptance, which is a frequency of love, right? It's accepting what you deem as wrong and right. It's all happening for a reason. And And I know out there might be some kind of beliefs that, oh, if you accept the negative, it means you're attracting more of that in your reality. No, it doesn't work like that. Law of attraction doesn't work like that, you know. To be acceptance of it is to release the resistance. And once you can do that, then you can see it from a higher perspective that is happening for you. You can be grateful for it, right? So that's the first step. So yeah, that's, you know, basically that's the fundamental of it. It's really shifting from the logic, the analyzing mind down into the heart space. What do you think, Isabelle?
Well, I wanted to share with you, I don't know if I told you this, Kimberly, that what's happening to me now is I feel the emotion, let's say frustration, like the dogs are barking in the background or whatever. And at the same moment, simultaneously, I feel peace and harmony. So I think what's happening is I'm feeling more of my essence, my soul, while I'm going through physical experience. And it's a little surreal because it was so foreign to have to be the observer and the player at once, because I'm used to just playing my game as Isabelle. So for me to be in physical reality as the player and my creator or my soul as once, I was just like, whoa, what just happened? Now, oh my gosh, that's so, I didn't plan it. I didn't ask for it. It just happened. And I think so I channeled around it, and it's moving into that oneness state. It's realizing you're just your emotions and your fears. You can feel more of who you are, which is your soul. So my friends out there, doing the shadow work has so many benefits, not only for you and for us, but it's really cool. So I hope that entices you magically to do it, because you really get to, another way of looking at it is, let's say you always see 3 doors. You always choose the middle door, the right door, the left door, depending on your mood. Well, now as you move through your shadow work and you clear out a lot of your fears, 7 doors appear. And so possibilities exist that didn't exist before because you had limited yourself. And it opens up the field of potentiality. So for me, it opens up the field of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason you can play and do the shadow work. It doesn't always have to be to release pain. It can be in joy and ease. You could do both. Don't worry, the universe gives you both. It's okay.
It is. And, you know, and that's a really good perspective, because I think maybe there are people out there that don't do the shadow work because they feel it's brings them too much into, you know, paradigms of fear, you know, like there might be, if they do their shadow work, it means they're going to attract more like negativity into their life, right? That's not exactly how law of attraction works. If you delve deeper into law of attraction, you understand that it's actually necessary for you to raise your frequency. You can do all the psychic work you want. You can explore all the metaphysical topics you want, third eye technique, whatever you want to do. But unless you do your shadow work, you know, you are going to have your reality reflect fear-based scenarios, right? So wouldn't you want to experience these metaphysical experiences but reflected in a love-based reality? Isn't that so much better, you know? And it actually gives you a sense of, you know, a freedom as well, because I know often when people explore like a kind of metaphysical realm, psychic ability, some people might be a bit fearful of them because they might be afraid of, you know, dark energies or experiences maybe they don't want, right? But you don't even have to worry about all that kind of fear-based stuff, because that's a paradigm of 3D reality. If you activate your psychic abilities through the heart center by doing your shadow work, it'll naturally come online, right? And your abilities will be love-based. So you don't even have to worry about having kind of fear-based experiences exploring the metaphysical, because it won't be reflected to you because of your vibration. So yeah, you can look at your soul work as, okay, yes, it's kind of necessary for you to heal the shadows, because if you're attached to duality, you have shadows. We all do, right? Yes, you can increase them and decrease them and transmute them, yes, but there's still aspects there because we still are attached to duality, right? So it's an ongoing journey here. You don't have to suffer through it. When you're triggered by the moment, and when you do your shadow work as well, one thing is that you don't have to do it, every minute of the day. We're not saying, okay, you have to spend all these hours on it. Basically, you only need to do shadow work when you're triggered in the moment. Yes, if you've got like a kind of a big issue and you need assistance with, like there is myself, Isabelle, and other people where we can delve deeper in that with you, on a personal level. But it's about just, going through your everyday life when you're triggered, by fear. It could be an annoyance, it could be agitation, frustration, anger, sadness. Be curious about it. You don't have to be like, oh, like I'm a failure and, oh, what does this mean about me being, highly advanced and I've got this feeling a negative emotion and I should be more advanced than this and da 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 da. Like often as light workers, you can judge your own journey here. Isn't it right, Isabelle? It's really about it's okay because we're releasing a lot. So if you have this negative emotion come up for you, just be the observer, be curious about it. You can in the moment dissociate, like in a way, kind of take a step back and be the observer and be like, oh, isn't this curious? Try and me for a reason. I have negative emotion for a reason. I might not be able to see the soul lesson here, but it's alerting me to a belief I have within me that is limiting me because it's based on duality or based on victim mentality here. So you can be grateful just in that lesson, even if you do not see the soul lesson here in the belief here. And as you do that work, you'll naturally have that awareness of what the limiting belief is. It'll naturally come into your conscious awareness, right? But if you're not in the present moment, you may not receive that communication. So that's why being in the present moment is really important if you want to be able to receive all these communications, right? From your inner being, higher self, spirit guides, God, whatever you want to call it, right? At the end of the day, they're all us. They're all aspects of us. There are many different labels. I channel the beings of the light. But at the end of the day, they're us. And, Isabelle channels the Crystal Light Collective. End of the day, they're all us. So they're like, we do put labels on these, kind of perceived as external beings because we're attached to duality. But end of the day, it is all source consciousness and they're all part of us. So it is. And it's about, being gentle on your journey here. And if you can do that and just release and play, like Isabelle said, soul work doesn't have to be this kind of drudgery, this kind of like, soul, shadow work and oh my goodness, use it as an opportunity to activate your psychic abilities. You can, if you can see from that perspective also, you'll actually start to actually anticipate being triggered. You actually get excited about being triggered because you're like, yeah, this gives me an opportunity to not only heal myself, but it gives me the opportunity to activate my psychic abilities and my oneness remembrance and that wisdom of the whole universe within me, right? So how exciting is that if you can kind of shift your perspective on what shadow work actually does for you? You'll be able to let go more of that resistance and that, like me and Isabelle, for instance, all the abilities we have, it came online naturally because of us doing our shadow work. Everybody has these kind of psychic abilities. You don't have to, yes, if you're guided, do, your courses and do all that kind of thing, but understand that you need that. If you want to experience who you are in your reality, aligned to who you truly are, which is unconditional love, then the shadow work is a vital aspect of that.
Yeah, so Kimberley is creating a course and I've created a course and my course is online and it's fun. And I just love it when I get the feedback that everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe your course is fun. But we do shadow work in that course, you know, and it can be fun, but also really Kimberley and I are here to help you connect with your inner being. We're here creating those podcasts so that you say, oh, Kimberley went through that. Isabelle went through that. Oh, they talk about like they're doing their shadow work. Oh, okay. And yeah, let me tell you, sometimes the shadow work is really intense and it is painful. And I remember my back went out for, I don't know, 90 days or something. Like I walked like an old lady, and I'm channeling at this point, and I'm like, what is going on, guys? You know? So we, you know, and when Kimberley, you know, texted me, she goes, Isabelle, my tongue is black. I'm like, okay. we go through, you know, a lot of ascension systems and purging and shadow work, but we're always here encouraging you and sharing our stories so that if you see energy or if you hear things that sound like you, but you know it's not you, you know, we just share these stories so that you feel safe and encourage you to continue on your journey and explore and be curious. Kimberly's absolutely right. Curiosity has led me to great wonders and connection with the non-physical. And every time I studied the non-physical, I, you know, look at science and I study quantum physics, but the quantum science helps me understand the non-physical, and the non-physical helps me understand science. So like I'll read something about science and I'll channel it and I'll say, what did they mean by that? So all I'm saying is being curious, no matter where your curiosity is, if that means curious on looking at crystals or playing with crystals or doing meditations or creating your own meditation or doing yoga or trying a new yoga practice like Kundalini yoga, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, step outside your comfort zone and play. You're here in physical reality with Kimberley and I, and we're so happy you're with us on our journey because I know you chose to be here with us, and I'm thrilled to find you, not and rediscover you, because like Kimberley and I, like I remember, you know, Kimberley has been my mother in another life. I remember this other life with her in Atlantis, but glimpses, just like little pieces, right? And I said, Kimberley, how cool is that I get to rediscover you as Kimberley, like I've never known you in my whole entire existence, and you get to rediscover me, which I know you've known me for eternity, as new as Isabelle. So here we are, we're playing this game, and how cool is that we get to experience it? And so being curious, right? I'm curious about Kimberley showing up as Kimberley. Like, ooh, what was your journey like in this life? Ooh, what did you experience? You know, and it's fun, and you can be light. And light, yes, it's not only like something heavy and versus light, but light meaning like light, you know, like energy, light. So the more that you encompass light within you, you do become lighter and more joyful because you're not so heavy and dense and dark.
And that's it. And that's
so play lightly.
Yes. And that's what I'll say. That's why playing is also part of our journey here. You know, and it's not all about, okay, just exploring the world of the metaphysical and all that kind of thing. We are here to have fun in physical reality, guys. It's not about seeing, okay, I'm kind of like in this physical reality, yet I could be more free over in another reality. And, you know, it's about seeing your actual physical reality as helping you on this ascension journey. We are meant to actually embrace the you know, third dimensional, like dimensions of reality, right? Even though it's an illusion, we're supposed to have fun in the illusion, right? It is about balancing. It's about balancing the metaphysical world and the what we see as the physical world, right? And this helps you to have that balance. It helps you to ground into reality, because it's not about, exploring all the world of the metaphysical, yet you're not grounded in physical reality. So what's the point? You are here to expand through physical reality. You're not here just to be and then, ignore your reality. Your reality is a teacher for you. It is a playground for you. It is a game here. So, go play. And even if it's like what you might think is mundane activity, whatever brings you joy, go play, because you do need that balance. You need the shadow work when you're triggered, right? And to engage in reality. So, what brings you joy? Is it watching a TV series? Is it, I don't know, playing some games? Like whatever it is in your reality, go enjoy, get out there and play, and connect with Gaia as well, we receive a lot of activations, right? A lot of you know about activations. If you don't, understand that, we're energetic beings, as you know, and currently, especially this year and towards the end of last year, we are receiving a lot of activations. We're activating dormant aspects of our DNA, and understand that we were created with aspects of dormant DNA because basically we weren't ready to remember who we were back then when you perceive time, right? Because we as a collective chose to explore these kind of dense dimensions of reality, this very kind of, darkness, or, like what we call as like the dark ages, and this kind of victim mentality. We actually chose to all explore this, to expand us, to allow us to be where we are today. So I understand everything that's happened in our human history is happened for a reason. It's meant to happen the way we are. But because now the collective is the majority of us is vibrating in love, we are now ready to activate more of who we are within us. And because as above, so below, as within, so without, so the universe, as the universe, so the soul. So basically everything is a micro of the macro, right? So when we activate like our light bodies and aspects within our vibration, we're also activating our physical bodies, because there is no separation here. So when you hear of, activating, our ethereal DNA and all this kind of codes within us, we're actually activating our physical DNA as well, because it is one and the same, and there's no separation. So, and this is why as well, there are many of us awakening to our new abilities, because we are activating this within us, our abilities. And yes, because of, the convergence and solar eclipse and everything that's happened, I guess, astrological, it does create shifts of energy, right? And activations. It allows kind of energy to be available to us, to make it a bit, I guess, easier for us to do our shadow work, and to us to be able to see higher perspectives. But understand we still have to do the work. Just because we as a collective are shifting into high states of consciousness doesn't mean all of a sudden our fears are wiped away with a magic wand. We still have to do the work here. Yes, it'll get easier because we're able to see more of our oneness reality reflected. So that gives us, assurance and validation that we are not alone and we can do it. But just play and have fun, guys. Be a kid, be that big kid. I know I am, because of what's happening, we haven't been able to at the moment. But for instance, like me and hubby, when we go to the movies, we go to the arcades. We love it. We always go to the arcades to play like the air hockey and all these kind of games at the arcade. And we love it. We're like big kids and it brings us joy. Yes, it's not kind of, you might think of it as a kind of a metaphysical topic to explore and activity, but it brings me joy. And whatever brings you joy raises your frequency, and of course doing this work, of course it's my passion too, so this also increases my vibration. But I have a lot of activities outside of the the metaphysical realms, and that also helps activate my frequency. So understand that your focus doesn't have to always be on this kind of metaphysical work. It can, we are here to also focus on 3D reality in our perspective of dimensions, like the illusion of separation. There are lessons in there. There's activations within everything, you know, you can be activated from watching a TV show. I know I've had that experience many times when I'm watching a TV show and I'm receiving activations and awareness of something for me to explore for my journey. Even now I've got art supplies. It just came yesterday. And from watching a Netflix series called The Gift. It was very cool. Anyway, she does like artwork, light language in the form of artwork there. It's a very good show. I really recommend it. Anyway, so by me watching that, right, it actually activated within me this kind of calling that I'm supposed to also explore this. So understand that the messages doesn't have to always come from the, you know, metaphysical realms, like the non-physical or your knowing. It can come from watching a TV show. It can come from anything, right? So it's about just keeping your awareness open and just play. Because if you don't play, you miss out on opportunities, right? So if you want to watch TV because you might get activated from a TV show. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes, Kimberly, that's a very good point. Your messages come from everywhere. You limit your communication because nothing in your reality is random. So she was inspired to see that show. By the way, I did see that show. It's very good. I highly recommend the Gift. Anyways, whether you hear a song on the radio, overhear a conversation, read something, your web browser opens up to a page and you're like, oh, that's weird. When you hear, oh, that's weird, or that's curious, pay attention because that's a sign. They're trying to communicate with you in many ways. It's just that you discount it, but they're constantly communicating with you. It's just that they're not psychic energy, or the non-physical energy is delicate. It's a delicate touch. It's not like a slap on the wrist. You know, sometimes they have to use force to get our attention. Those are those near-death experiences. You get hit by a train, you know, your life gets like, 360 change. And that's because they had to get the message louder and louder and louder. And by them, I mean you. Your soul created it. Nothing happens by accident. You create your reality. So whatever happens is for you, but be curious. So there you go. Kimberly is now going to do light language, and I'm really excited to see what she's going to paint and post to share with us. Very exciting.
Yeah. And you know, in our logical minds, if that happened, I could have been like, crap, I don't know if I can paint. But it's about letting go of that doubt, trusting the guidance. You know, I haven't painted since high school. I don't know if I can paint, doesn't matter. I was guided to do it. So I already bought the art supplies. I'm like, I'm just going to do it anyway. And I just trust that I'm supposed to explore it. Maybe I'm not supposed to have it at a quality where it's on exhibition. Perhaps when I'm doing it, it's going to activate even something else within me. So there's no like end result here. It's actually, you get these kind of activations along the way in your journey. So there's never kind of an end point to get to in a way. And, you know, our society, we've been conditioned that we need to get to kind of an end point to create the goals, get to our goals, but that is a limited way of thinking. You can set your intentions that you want to explore joy. You want to be able to remember your life purpose here and explore it in your conscious awareness. You want, you know, whatever it is, you can make your intentions. And it's just about going through the journey of exploring it, because there is divine time in all things. Sometimes, even if we have a passion, it's not supposed to be manifested the way we want, when we want. There is a reason why. And like me and Isabelle were just talking about this earlier before as well. Me and Isabelle both have projects going on, right? I've had projects going on for the last 3 years, and I haven't been, like, a lot of them haven't even been put out in the public yet, right? And it's okay, right? It's manifesting in the way it's supposed to, in the time it's supposed to. even in the world of law of attraction, some of us are being conditioned that, okay, I want this, I'm going to manifest it to come here tomorrow, I'm going to have the $1 million manifested. That's not how law of attraction works as well. It's about letting go of that ego and control. It will show up when it's supposed to show up. Yes, you can manifest it by doing your shadow work, by setting your intentions, by seeing the wanted in the perceived unwanted, yes, but it's not about controlling your reality. And the manifestation process, when you received guidance, like when you engage in your passion and you have that inspiration, like for instance, me, I got inspired to do the artwork. That's law of attraction at work. I received the guidance to do it, so I order the art supplies. When it becomes manifested in a finished artwork, well, it doesn't really matter. It's a journey, right? So it's the same with manifesting everything, money, and manifesting your purpose. It'll happen when it's supposed to, but you can assist the process through law of attraction, through understanding universal laws. And the fundamental for all of law of attraction, the fundamental for manifesting is shadow work, right? Otherwise, it just lies in ego-based realities, and it won't be that effective in being manifested to you. So all of you who might be trying to manifest things that haven't done the shadow work, there's a reason why maybe it's not manifesting, because it's not supposed to be manifested to you. But we are God creators here, so we can manifest, but understand that, what do you truly want? Do you want to manifest why you are here? Do you want to manifest your passions that come into physical reality? Do you want to allow it to be unfolded in the most magical way, right? So it's up to you. You can bypass all that and not explore what you came here to explore. That's okay too, right? We are living many lives at once. You can do it in another life, no worries. But it's up to you. What do you choose? Do you want to live in that fulfillment? You can manifest whatever you want, but are you going to be fulfilled? Are you still going to be filled in achieving, but exploring what you came here to explore? So that sense of fulfillment is about exploring your purpose here. And our purpose here is exploring our journey consciously, right? Along the way. So, and it's to explore it in joy. That's who we are. Yes, we need the balance of the shadow work and the joy, right? And that the two kind of helps and propels us forwards in our evolution.
Well said, Kimberley. Well said.
Well, I think that's a good note to finish. What do you think?
I think so too. So thank you so much for listening to Kimberley and I. I hope this conversation helps you or inspires you. And until next time.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you on again, sister. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Attracting Wisdom. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Spotify even, Podbeans. Just Google search Attracting Wisdom.
Right. And so like I said, it's a lot of information and assistance for you. So I hope you enjoyed watching or listening this today. And just, go forward in your journey, go boldly in your journey. 2021, I really feel it's like 2020, we did so much of that purging, right? Processing. And I feel really like 2021 is, okay, now you've done the processing. Yes, you always process, but now it's kind of, the energy is fast almost. It's like 2021 is propelling us to move even further on our journey, to push past any of that remaining fear and just go for it. Go, whatever you are guided to do, go for it. It's time now to push past that fear. And I really do feel that the energies are moving faster. And
Me
like
too.
what Isabelle said with the creativity, I really feel that's really being birthed even more within us. So just go with the flow and just, live in the present moment. Do the balancing act here and ensure that you're also enjoying life, not just processing life. Because you know what I mean? Like, there's endless processing. Once you've processed all your, I actually saw this funny funny video. Actually, it's on it's actually on the Beings of the Light with Kimberley Community Facebook group. Someone posted a funny video, and it's really true. You can process, so much, and then when you stop processing that, you can process for the whole collective and all the worlds and all the universe. It will just continue. So understand that the processing never ends here. You're never going to get to an end point of processing, but it's about keeping the balance, right? So also embracing the joy in your reality, the funness, right? The lightness of life. That's who we are as well, right? And just embrace the changes. Yes, there will be more changes occurring, but understand that I really feel anyway that the most dense part of it is over. That's how I perceive it anyway in my reality. And I feel like now it's just going to get a lot more easier for us, and we're going to go a lot more smoothly now as a collective. But I guess that's also for those who've done the shadow work. That's my reality, my perspective. For those of you who might be a bit cautious about doing their shadow work, maybe your reality is a little bit different, and that's okay. But understand that we are as a collective moving more into the remembrance that we are love, that everybody in our reality in the collective is love and oneness, right? So friends, if you want to know more about me, of course, jump on my website, beingsofthelight.com. Invite you to join Facebook group, Beings of Light with Kimberley Community. I've got all the socials as well, podcasts and Instagram, YouTube channel. You can watch a lot of sessions there, but all the links are on my website. And also I invite you guys, if you want, on my website, sign up for the newsletter. I've just recently actually started a newsletter. It means you'll just get notified of any upcoming events if you're interested in delving deeper into these topics we talk of today. All right, so thank you all for watching and listening to this. Until next time, love and light to you all. Farewell.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Mystical Musings with Friends. To find more info about myself and how to reach out to me about this podcast, please see the episode details. Remember, you are never alone on your journey, for you are one with all that is.